Happy Friday, y'all. Where's the week gone? Lord, I'm talking about it flew by. I've been that busy. But today's recipe was supposed to be done yesterday because I like it to sit up overnight because this chocolate pie happens to be our grandson Cameron's favorite treat. And he only gets it at the holidays. I actually made an extra one for them to send home for Thanksgiving. But he's coming today, staying to Sunday. And he doesn't know that Mama is going to make him a chocolate pie. And what he doesn't eat will be sent home. But something tells me that growing 12-year-old, yeah, they ain't going to be nothing to take home. Nope. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to make chocolate pie. Now, mine is going to be different, I'm pretty sure, from a lot of recipes out there. But it's an old family recipe that I have added some hidden ingredients over the years, and you might be surprised what they are. But we're not going to stop there. No. I just went and harvested 2 lemons this morning. Aren't they gorgeous? Now, this has a hair of green. It's not going to matter. I can tell they're full of juice. We're going to make lemon cake box cookies with a lemon icing. So let's just spend a while together. Start with the pie. We're going to move to the cookies. Now, what you're seeing over here on the stove is a pre-baked pie crust. And I just put some parchment paper, some beans, just dried beans, so it would lay flat, add weight, and I just pre-baked it. So if you're doing your own pie crust, or you're letting, what is her name? Miss Chandler, Miss Schuler, she's Miss somebody. She did the honors for me. Y'all know, if I can afford to get them on sale, I'm going to buy stacks of them. But that's just how Lippy rolls. That don't mean you got to do it. But you do have to pre-bake your pie crust because it needs to be cool. And I got to jabbering, so mine's sitting over there. But by the time we do everything and I pop my gums, it's going to be cool. So I'm going to drop the camera. We got to start on the pie because the cookies, they're kind of easy. But I put a twist on that as well. This is the pot that I will be making my filling with, okay? And in this bowl is 2.5 cups of sugar, 5 heaping tablespoons of cocoa. You can use dark or regular. This is just regular Hershey's cocoa, and you need 5 heaping tablespoons, 4 tablespoons of flour. I kind of heat mine as well, and a pinch of salt. And you want to really combine it well. And I'm just using a whisk, and this is what I'm going to make the filling with as well. So, you don't have a lot of dishes, but you want to get this well and combined, and I will leave the recipe down in the description. You're also going to need 3 tablespoons of cold butter, salted or unsalted, and a heaping tablespoon of vanilla extract. But we won't be putting this to the stove. This has to set aside. You'll need 4 egg yolks, room temperature, 3.5 cups of whole milk, a teaspoon of instant coffee, and it's optional, but guys, it makes people go, You're going to need a small pinch, and I mean a small pinch, of ground cayenne pepper. So, since we're sticking with the dry ingredients, let's get our teaspoon of instant coffee, and I'm using espresso. It just ramps up the chocolate flavor, but it doesn't taste like coffee, guys. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean by a pinch. And you're thinking, well, why would you even worry about it? Just this little amount is going to bring the chocolate flavor to a whole different level. But this cayenne and that espresso, I'm telling you, it makes a difference. And no, you won't taste the heat. So I just like to kind of sprinkle it around. And we're going to get this well and combined. And what I like to do is alternate my milk and my eggs. So there's us a little milk. Let's get us an egg in here. And we're just going to get this folded in. Now we're going to move to the stove. But remember, your 3 tablespoons of cold butter and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract needs to sit to the side. I've got my stove ice set on the higher side of medium, which is about a 6.5, 7. I made sure I incorporated our pudding very well. You want to scrape the sides. And now we've got to bring it up to a low boil. Make sure you stir this or it's going to burn. It's going to take 6 to 7 minutes to get our pudding to the consistency that we want. But you see how easy it is? Now, if I had dark cocoa, I would have used half dark and half regular. But I ran out of dark cocoa over the Thanksgiving holidays, and I've got plenty of regular. But if you have both, if you divide that up, oh, you talk about decadent. Okay, I want to show you. We've only been going about 2.5 minutes. You see how it's starting to froth on top? We know that we're coming up to temp. Now, I've got my heat turned down to about a number 4. And this is where it's starting to get thick and pop, and you don't want to stop stirring. Now, because I'm learning this stove, you know, it's new, I'm going to actually go down to number 2. And we are almost there. And you just want to constantly stir this. Now, this is extremely hot. I want to be able to set it up to where the camera can pick up on it. When you're cooking this, and by the way, I'm at 7.5 minutes, and you think, oh, that's thick. Cook it some more. You really want, I'm trying to show you, when I pull back, it holds a shape, whatever shape you're pulling. See how it holds? It won't go back. And that's where you want it. This is where we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of cold butter and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And you're going to whisk this well. We need that butter completely melted and incorporated into our pudding. I can talk to you while I'm getting a facial. But now, at this point, when you pour your pie up, which we'll do together, it has to chill, so you need to set it on into the ice box. And then you can put whatever topping you want on it. What Cameron likes, well, all the grandkids, Cool Whip. But you don't want to put that Cool Whip until this has set up and completely cooled. And that takes a good 4 hours, okay? That's why I wanted to do this really yesterday, but the internet was messing up. And I really wanted to show y'all the recipe. So you're going to have, and you can, you know, do it that morning of, that afternoon, put the Cool Whip, leave it open-faced in the ice box. And it'll just kind of set itself, the Cool Whip and the chocolate pie. Now, if you want an egg white topping, by all means, do that. And then toast the little froth edges that you put on it, your peaks in the oven. The whole family will choose Cool Whip as their topping. I can't keep a straight face, y'all. Okay. And you see, I am just whisking. Because you don't want to just take this hot mixture right into your pretty pie crust. It'll gum. Now, you don't want to sit here and cool it off in the pot, but I'm whisking to help cool it down. It's still going to be hot, but not hot. Does that make sense? Don't let your pudding mix be hot when you put it in your pie crust. You just want it a hot warm. Don't y'all love my vocabulary today? Y'all, it's just been me, myself, and I in that sugar shack. Working some late hours. Getting y'all's orders out. And I'm smiling. So I hope I did justice. Made them as pretty as I could. It's the holidays. And I love to smile and celebrate. Well, year round, but really at the holidays, it's kind of my sweet spot. So I'm just going to keep stirring this a good 3 minutes, guys. I ain't going to hold you here. And then we'll pour it up. And if I have any left over, I always pull out a couple of ramekins. By the way, this makes one deep dish pie. Or you can get 2 regular pie crust, and this will do 2 regular pie crust. But I'm going to use a deep dish. It seems like a smaller round for a store-bought pie crust. So I pulled 2 ramekins out because if I have any left over, I will fill the ramekin, let it cool just like the pie in the icebox, and then put some Cool Whip on top, maybe some chocolate sprinkles, and you've got pudding, you know. That's basically what you have. You don't have the crust. So if you're trying to avoid the crust or something, it's still a great, delicious, decadent dessert. You just don't have the crust. So if you're sitting there going, oh, I want to make this, but I don't have a pie crust or I don't have the ingredients, get you a ramekin, a bowl, whatever. You can still make it, and it'd just be a delicious, pretty pudding. That's what it is. All right, I'll be back about 2 more minutes. I've been jabbering a minute. And then we're going to pour this up because we got lemon cookies to make. And, yeah, time is not on my side to go get that youngin'. Now, it's cooled down enough. You see how thick it is? Now, I like to go all the way to the top. Perfect. Scrape that down. Give it a little jiggle. Smooth this out. I'm going to go in and clean this up some. Make sure I don't have any around the side. Because remember, we're going to top these off as well with Cool Whip. So that pie crust was a little bit smaller than what I normally buy. But there you have it. Now it's got to go into the fridge at least minimum of 2 hours before you even want to think about putting a topping on. But if you can let it go 4 to 6 hours, then you know when you put that topping on, it will hold. Now let's do our lemon cookies. I said something, 2 weeks ago? And I've been watching them lemons and watching them, and I was like, I got 2, well, actually there's a couple of more, but they still got a little bit of green. But guys, I washed them, and I went to roll them to release some juices, and they're coming out of the skin. I can't wait to see how much juice we get. And they're not the biggest lemons that I've got growing, but they're decent sized lemons. So, let me get this into the icebox, get this pot soaking. And it's really not that bad, nothing sticks, but I want to get it soaking. We got cookies to do. Here is our lemon cake box mix. The first thing we want to do is zest these lemons right on into here. And ever how much you want of zest is what you do. And I want to get a lot of this zest. Now you just want to get the yellow off. That's a lot of zest off of that. I'll do a little bit more, and then I'm going to reserve the rest for the icing because I want to see those flakes of lemon zest. I'm going to go ahead and get my zest into my icing. And all I've got is 1 cup of powdered sugar, confectionery sugar, whatever you call it. It's just a cup. Because if I was to cut these lemons right now and try to zest, it's almost impossible. Okay, now back to our bowl, okay? I am going to cut these lemons and I'm going to juice each one of them. Gosh, look at the juice. Because this is going in the icing, and I'm also going to put a little bit, not much, into our cookie. Now, before I toss these, if you have a garbage disposal, you could cut this by 4 each piece, put it in your garbage disposal, let it just sit there a couple hours, and then run your disposal. It will disinfect it. So if you have a garbage disposal, when I used to have one, that's what I would do with my lemons. I just cut them, set them down in there, set them at nighttime, let it sit all night, and then just grind them up. Now, guys, if I had to guess, I've got not quite a half a cup. Very, very pleased with that. I'm going to take a tablespoon, no more than that, of the lemon juice to our cake mix. I melted 1/3 cup of butter, but as you can see, it almost wanted to set up on me. But it will blend in because you don't want it hot now because you're going to be putting eggs in here. So if you had hot butter, you'd cook those eggs. And 2 eggs, room temperature. Y'all have seen me do this before. All I'm going to do is incorporate this. I just put the cookies in the oven. I do have time to go ahead and do our icing before we get to mashing. So let's get our icing done. 1 cup confectionery sugar, powdered sugar. And if I had to guess, what, a good tablespoon of lemon zest. Now, we're going to go small with the liquid. If you add too much liquid, just add a little bit more powdered sugar. So that's about 3 tablespoons. And that may not be, oh yeah, I can tell it's not going to be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and add 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. And you're going to ask, well, if you need more liquid, what are you going to do? Very little bit of water, like droplets. Or, to really ramp it up, you could add lemon juice. But if I need more, and I don't think I will, that was the perfect consistency, 4 tablespoons. I got lucky. But if it would have got too thin on me, I'd have just added some more sugar, powdered sugar. And that's it. It is exactly what I want, because I want a glaze. That's what I'm looking for. Using a silicone spatula, you don't want metal. And you start off lightly, okay? Just lightly get the air out. All the way. Now, this is when I'm going to come in and add a little bit more pressure. Because you see they want to puff back up. That's because of the leveling that's in the cake mix. And you see how it cracks right there? Isn't it gorgeous? But if I would have just punched it down all at one time, it would have split. Because you got to allow them to come back up to get the air out. And we'll do this when they come out of the oven. Let me see, 6 minutes in. Back into the oven, probably another 6 minutes. Aren't they pretty? Exactly 12 minutes. But now you'll have to judge how you want your cookie. When they set up, it'll have a firm bottom, but it will be kind of chewy, soft, should I say, in the middle. And you make them any size that you want. But this is where you really want to give them a good mash, because they won't rise again. Now that they're out of the heat, they'll hold the shape. onto the drying rack. I'm going to let these sit maybe 5 minutes, just where they cool off, because I don't want them, you know, liquefying our icing. In the meantime, I'm going to put some parchment paper under here because it will drip and make a mess. I checked one of the puddings, and it has set up enough to where I'm going to go ahead and put some Cool Whip on it, and I'm going to show y'all what I will do with the pie. Same thing I'm going to do with the pie is what I'm fixing to do now. I'm just going to use a butter knife. There we go. One more dollop. And I'm just going to push it to the edge. And again, you can add or take away as much of the Cool Whip as you want. But yeah, the pudding already set up. So imagine if this was my pie. And I'm just going to use my butter knife to put some peaks, some little swirls. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this is where I'm going to dress it up. I've got a Hershey Kiss. Now you can use regular or you can use the peppermint. I just grabbed one, so for this one we're going to put peppermint. And I am just going to come in and sprinkle, or grate should I say, this peppermint Hershey Kiss. Beautiful. Very Christmassy. And peppermint and chocolate go well together. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to save this piece and I'll do the other ones. You don't want too much, just enough. Or, like I said, you could do a Hershey Kiss so people would know there's chocolate below that. Now we're back to our cookies. Now, you could put this in a piping bag, a Ziploc bag, put little swirls. But I'm just going to take a little bit of this icing on just a kitchen teaspoon. A little bit more. Put it right in the middle and kind of bring it out to the side. And this is where you could do more zest if you wanted to. But I want to resemble the old-fashioned lemon cookies. Remember we used to get, and they had the icing in the middle, and you could see just a little bit of the cookie. 16 cookies. Now, oh, they're hot. The second batch is sitting here cooling. Of course, the chef has got to do quality control. Look at that beautiful cookie. And you see the icing set up. But as I get a refill of coffee, I'm going to go ahead and insert 2 photos. One of the pie, one of the cookies. I've got them sitting in a cute red tin, green paper, because there's green ribbon on the red tin. So I'm going to insert those 2 pictures, get me a cup of coffee. We got a sample, and I got to wrap this up because I got to drive to get a grandson. Got my coffee, got my cookie. Y'all look. Now this is how we like our cookies. On the bottom, kind of toasty. Look at the center. Icing is still a little tacky. It'll harden on up. You know, I don't know why they think lemon cookies have to be spring and summer. Citrus is in the fall and winter. Y'all, it's not too tart because I don't like tart. That lemon is like a burst. It's clean. That hint of sweetness with the icing. Guys, it just don't get no better. So, as I said, in my last video, and I'll say again. Shop around. Get you different flavor cake boxes, especially right now during the holidays. You'll find them. One store had them for 75 cents. I think it was a Pillsbury brand. I really don't think it matters. I just happen to have some Duncan Hines here because they were $1 a box. So, you know, why not? But right now at the holidays, if you want to do cookie exchanges or whatever, just play with it. Get different, you know, flavored profiles. Mix up that tin of all different flavors. You're not out a lot of money. It's semi-homemade. And then you put your own twist, kind of like I did with the icing. I had my lemons that I harvested, and it just ramped it up. So, I mean, it's endless possibilities when it comes to cake mix for cookies. And don't think that, well, they're not homemade. Well, did somebody else make them? No, you did. So they're homemade. Doesn't have to be scratch, but it's homemade. And you're doing it out of love, especially for our friends and family this time of year. And I think they'll be surprised if you tell them, oh, I used a cake box. And they're going to be like, say what? Mm-hmm. That's what most of them say to me when I say, when they ask for the recipe. And I'm like, oh, just get you a box of blah, blah, blah cake mix, 2 eggs and 1/3 cup of melted butter. And they're like, huh? Y'all, I got to take my cookie, my cup of coffee, edit this video. Recipe for the chocolate pie will be in the description. So you see what I did with the pie. I grated the rest of that one little kiss, just a little bit, and I put mini chocolate morsels around it, indicating it was a chocolate pie. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot more treats, a lot more candies to do because that's what I gift at Christmas time. This weekend, we need to go out to the garden. It is rocking. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you on the next one. Bake you some cookies. Lemon cookies.